Hello everyone, I'm out here in the woods in a stand of sassafras trees so that I can tell you all about how to make my favorite herbal cocktail, the Appalachian Mule. In Appalachia, sassafras was known as a traditional spring tonic. That means that it was dug in the spring and it was used to chase away the winter blues. Sassafras is a mood elevator as well as an aromatic herb. That means that it helps with digestion. The Appalachian Mule that we'll be making is a wonderful before dinner drink to help with your digestion before a meal. Uh, and I find it really interesting that it was used to chase away the winter blues here historically. Now, the FDA does not approve the use of sassafras anymore due to a study that they did where lab mice were injected with massive amounts of saffron. And I mention that because, number one, you would not be consuming that much saffron ever in your life. And also because you would have to drink like sassafras all day long for months at a time. There's just no way that you're going to ingest that much saffron. And it also doesn't take into consideration that there are other constituents found in sassafras besides saffron, which may affect the way that saffron relates to your body. So I do partake in sassafras, even though it isn't approved by the FDA. It was once used to flavor root beer, but now they use artificial flavoring to do that. I feel comfortable ingesting saffron because I know that my ancestors have done it and native people here have done it for a number of years. And I also really see the great effects that it has on me. It is really a mood elevator and it does chase away the winter blues. That's one of the really special things about this cocktail that we're going to make today is it's definitely medicine and it's just something really, really special. And I always say that, you know, if you live here in the mountains, you gotta be a little sassy because our winters are long and hard and life is tough. You know, they say that we're people who live on islands in the sky, that we're just as remote and have to live like such a difficult life to be here. And, you know, so sassafras is really a big part of my springtime routine to harvest it and get my medicine supply for the year. So I hope that this video will inspire you to experiment and get to know a sassafras tree near you. Sassafras is an easy tree to identify because it has 3 different shaped leaves. It has the well-known 3-prong shape, the typical leaf shape, and the shape that is called a mitten. It's one of the first trees to get its leaves in the early spring, so that's what makes it easy to harvest in the early spring. It also turns bright colors of yellow and red in the fall, and that indicates a great time to harvest the roots as well. Sassafras trees grow in stands like we see here. That's because their roots grow in a rhizome-like fashion, so they spread out in long tendrils and other trees shoot up from those roots. This makes finding a patch to harvest from pretty easy. When harvesting root, check your stand for a small sapling that is under knee height. This is going to be some of the best root to harvest, and it will also help your stand, as sassafras tries to grow way too many trees and can inhabit the area. This will help to keep it thinned out and ensure that your sassafras trees will survive. To harvest the root, you'll want a tool like a hori-hori or a garden spade. And we're just going to pull back the dirt along the plant here and feel which way the root is going. Like I said, because they're rhizomatic, they're often going to go off to the sides. So you want to be really careful. I like to start by making a nice cut in the earth all around in the root area, just to loosen it all up so I can get my hands in there and dig out the root. Here you can see where I've exposed the root. This is where the sapling's coming up, and you can see that the root goes in either direction underground. Here we have a nice little root. This one broke, but with a lot of patience you can spend some time and get big long roots if you just take the time to do it carefully. I find digging roots in the fall really fun. It's a great way to start preparing for the dark half of the year. It has a lot of poetry about going underground and storing things and reflecting for growth. You'll want to chop your washed sassafras root into about 1/4 inch pieces. You'll fill a jar about 1/3 of the way with the chopped root, and then fill the rest of the jar with vodka. You'll want to store this in a cool, dark place for a full moon cycle. For extra flavor in your brew, consider adding a little bit of honey or molasses or lemon. They are all excellent choices and complement the flavors wonderfully. After your sassafras root has sat in the vodka for a full moon cycle, we can begin to strain it out to make our cocktail. You can see that it gets very dark as it sits. To make our Appalachian Mule, first thing we'll want to do is, in a nice copper cup with ice, add 1.5 ounces of our sassafras vodka and fill it the rest of the way with a nice spicy ginger beer. Cheers!